Hey everyone. So Raiden is being rerun in a few days. A lot has changed since our last rerun, such as new weapons and especially the release of Dendro. Here is a tier list for her weapons, updated for 3.3. Since she can be played in multiple different ways, weapon strength varies. For the most part, I will factor in the usefulness of the weapons whether she's both on field and off field. Let's get started. Starting off with the 3-star weapons. So these weapons don't have very good stats or they get replaced later. White Tassel is okay because it provides a little bit of crit rate and normal attack damage, but it does get replaced later as well. Now on to the 4-star weapons. First we have Blackcliff Pole. So this is a Starglitter exchange weapon, and it gives a lot of crit damage from the main stat and attack percentage from the passive. The passive is not very useful against bosses, but it is great when dealing with groups of monsters. This is a great weapon on her. Next weapon, Crescent Pike. This weapon has a 565 base attack and buffs normal and charged attacks based on a small percentage of your total attack. While it sounds good on her, the weapon's main stat is physical damage, making it not very useful on her. Next, Deathmatch. Battle Pass weapon. Despite the low base attack, it provides a lot of crit rate, which allows her to deal consistent crit hits. This is a very good weapon. Next weapon, Dragonspine. So I would not recommend this on her because it's not very useful. While it has its uses in some Dendro related teams, she is able to use other weapons that provide more value. Next, Dragonspine Spear. If you hate using her elemental burst, this weapon is perfect. If you are trying to make physical Raiden a thing, this weapon is perfect. Otherwise, it is absolutely terrible. Never use it on her. Next, Favonius Lance. Raiden already batteries your team, so this weapon is a little bit unnecessary. While Favonius Lance isn't terrible on her, there are other weapons that fulfill the same role, but allow her to have more damage. Next, Kitain Spear. So this is very similar to Dragonspine. It has its uses in Dendro related reactions, but there are other options to use. Next, Lithic Spear. So not the worst option on her depending on what team you are running. This weapon increases in strength if you run her only with Lee UA characters. This passive is a bit restricted for a weapon though, so I wouldn't really use it. Next, Missive Windspear. While not as strong as some of the other 4-star weapons, this is a decent weapon to put on her. It gives a solid amount of attack and some elemental mastery that she can utilize. Next, Moonpiercer. Similar to other elemental mastery weapons, it has a use in Dendro based teams, but is not very good in other teams. This weapon also requires Sumeru weapon billets, which can be hard to get. Next, Prototype Starglitter. So this weapon has the exact same stats as the catch. The only difference is the passive, which is a bit less valuable on her. It is still a very strong weapon. Next, Royal Spear. Another Starglitter exchange weapon. It provides a high base attack and gives ramping crit rate. A good weapon to use on her, but I recommend using a different weapon that doesn't require Starglitter. Next, the catch. While this weapon can take a long time to get to Refinement 5 and a little bit annoying by fishing, it is one of her best 4-star weapons. It allows her to gain electro damage bonus from the energy recharge and gives her more burst damage and crit rate. I do believe it is worth the investment to do all the fishing to get this to Refinement rank 5. The last 4-star weapon, Wavebreaker's Fin. This weapon has a 620 base attack for a 4-star, which is crazy. It also allows her burst to do insane amounts of damage based on your party's total elemental burst cost. The catch and this weapon are her best 4-star weapons. Now on to the 5-star weapons. The first is Calamity Queller. This is an amazing weapon on her as a sub DPS. She can take full advantage of the passive while off field. It is still a good weapon on her even when used on field. With 741 base attack, she can reach insanely high attack numbers. Next, Engulfing Lightning, her signature weapon. So it provides energy recharge, attack, and a high base attack. This weapon suits her playstyle and is one of her strongest weapons. Next, Primordial Jade Winged Spear. This weapon is good on her when she's on field. It is still good when used off field, but she can't take full advantage of the passive. A great weapon on her regardless because of the high base attack and crit rate. Next, Skyward Spine. So similar to Jade Winged Spear, she can take advantage of this when she's on field. All the stats that this weapon provides is really useful on her, and it's a very good weapon to use. Next, Staff of Homa. So this is another one of her best weapons, although it does require a lot of investment into crit stats on your artifacts. If you can manage to get good crit stats on your artifacts, Staff of Homa becomes very strong because you can take advantage of the crit damage that this weapon provides. Next, Staff of the Scarlet Sands. While this weapon gives a lot of crit rate, the passive is not very helpful unless you are running her in a Dendro-based team. In non-Dendro-based teams, she doesn't really care that much about Elemental Mastery, which lowers the value of this weapon. And last but not least, Vortex Vanquisher. So while attack is definitely useful on her, this weapon doesn't provide anything else. The shielding mechanic is also annoying at times. If you can manage to get a lot of energy recharge on your artifacts, it becomes a lot stronger because of the electro damage bonus stacking on top of the attack. Otherwise, this weapon I would not really use on her. So this is my weapon tier list for Raiden Shogun as of 3.3. If you have any questions regarding her weapons, let me know in the comments. Remember, almost any weapon can work well on her, and the strength depends on what team you are running her in. This tier list is just the general strength of each weapon. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.